Welcome to the nominating committee convention. We got a pile of undecided states that have to be resolved. Ladder, he thinks he's the low man on the totem pole. I believe he is. He's only sitting on 22, 29 electoral votes. He wants to take a shot. He's the dealer right now. He's got an extra card in his hand, not because of bandwagon, but because the last turn he was able to hold them. Thinks he has a decent hand. He wants to play for the whole pile. So he's putting it all up. It's a big pile, and it's kind of a game of blind man's bluff. Or, well, not exactly, but there is a bluffing game here. If you have a scandal in your hand, you can end this right away and force another round of voting. So we see a number of people who played one card. Is that a scandal or is it a bluff? Hard to tell. I used dice to help decide. We'll see how it turned out. Oh, well, there we go. There's a scandal. I believe deadlock no longer has an effect. And favorite son certainly doesn't. Yeah, deadlock and favorite son are zeros during the convention. Scandal, however, still works as it used to, as do some of the others. And remember, you can only play one money card on this thing. But we got a scandal in play. That means, oh, green threw everything in. You know, my bet is somebody back here played a scandal if they had one, just because of that. I mean, you see somebody throw all 5 cards. Wow. Especially when they're probably the leader. Yellow, he threw a few in. A 0 card, not a scandal. 10,000, about equivalent, not a scandal. And another non-scandal. Wow. Those people who went after green are either out of scandal cards or really taking a risk. And the cards are down. Hammer has a rumor on him. And he played a scandal. Bell lost big. Bench also played a scandal. And Hart lost kind of big. And Ladder, well, he's out of it. He played big here. 210,000 is one chance. I mean, and with his votes, he's the one who's going to be cut. Bench played cards on the 2 remaining players, none on himself. And that's nets under a 0. And that net's under a 0. They each have a card left, though. And everybody played 1 this time, with 1 remaining card. 70, that's a pretty good haul card to have. 50, that's not going to do it. And a scandal. Wow, Bench had just about nothing in his hand. He had 2 scandals, a couple of rumors, and another card. He had no way of winning this. He had no votes. Now, the question for him was, does he take a shot at getting this pile by just destroying everyone's chances, which is what he managed to do? Or does he want to walk into this with most of a good hand? If he drew a money card, he'd have a lot of power. He could grab, I mean, if he had 1 money card, he could have, one decent one, he could have grabbed this entire election, but he didn't have it. So what happens? Everybody's still in. We got to redeal. These haven't been assigned yet. So here we are on the 2nd round in the convention. And let us see what we get. Seesaw. Cancel endorsement of all candidates this round. So he has a $60,000 money card in play. Bell, a 50. Bench, big rumor on him. He's at negative 60. He's just didn't really play. Hart, 50. So far, 60's got it. Over here at Ladder, his endorsements are canceled, which means he's got a 90. He's in the lead right now. Is there a scandal? Is there enough points here on Hammer? He played 2 zeros. Wow. So Ladder ended up winning this one anyway. And that means he gets all these states, which is quite a pile. Doesn't put him in the lead, I don't think. But it definitely makes him a contender, as we were talking about before. It gives him the bandwagon. No one had it before. And I think, I'll count up to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that Bench is out of this one. He doesn't have a lot of votes. 35, 36, 37, 38. Yeah, I think everybody's got one now. So I think he's just been dropped. So here in this next round, Seesaw is going to be directing or dealing. But looking at the card hands, a lot of people had a lot of cards left. Now, if they had powerful cards, they probably would have gone. Somebody may have been sandbagging or something, but they probably would have gone for that huge pile of votes. They got very few draws. Ladder, on the other hand, blew his whole hand, but got a whole new hand. So he may be walking into this with the most powerful hand in this next round. Now, this next round's not huge, but if he can keep building up his momentum, he has an extra card from the bandwagon, and if that can keep happening, well, you know, he could just sweep this from last to first. So now this is a fairly low vote count. Let's see what we got here. Bell only played a single card. That's only at 30. It's not a scandal or anything like that. Hart went big. He's got 70, 160. Ladder went little. He's got 10. Sledgehammer, 150. So far, Hart's got this one. And 20. Hart wins this election. Let's see who gets eliminated. I'll come back after that. Well, Bell was knocked out, and he has something like 84 electoral votes up here on the block. That's a big pile. See, what's interesting here compared to the last time, the players, some of the players had a handful of cards, but they may not have been firing their biggest shot off at getting, what was it, 40-something electoral votes, I think. It certainly put Hart into not being knocked out. Bell should have probably, if he didn't, played hard to get that, because it was between him and Hart as to who would win. But it's hard to tell what's playing hard, because playing all your good cards up front, if they get scandaled, doesn't do you any good. But if you can slip one 100 bill in there, and everybody thinks you've just tossed a scandal or whatever up in play, and they're afraid to put their big money up, you may just win by default on that. All right. Well, Hart's running this one because Bell and Bench are out. Okay, and here we go. One thing I want to mention about this, because these are all single vote count things, and you're only allowed to play one money card, you kind of want to discard your money cards, because if you've got a handful of them, it's really hard to change your hand, and winning things makes your hand worse because you played a good card, and losing, well, that's what helps. All right, let's see what comes up on this one. Big $10,000 for Ladder. Hammer didn't even play. He saw that one card and said, I'm not in. Seesaw, 60,000. And about Hart. Hart played a scandal and threw away a money card. So, turned out Hammer did the right thing. The question is, you know, Hart was judging correctly that Ladder didn't have that up there. But no big money went up. No one played big. Okay, so now we do another round. Interesting stuff. Only 3 cards played. One of them on heart. He decides not to go. Hammer decides not to play. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's see what Ladder had. Ladder played a $30,000 card. Seesaw played an $80,000 card. And that's just a rumor. This all goes to Seesaw. And the bluff out continues. Now he may have just won. I'll count up, see if he's pulled a victory off somehow. And if not, somebody just got eliminated. And I think it's probably Hart, which would be a pity because he's sitting on some nice cards that he chose not to use. That's Hammer's big, and he's close to 100. He's like around 90. He's the one who fell. And he also had a pretty good hand. He certainly could have competed, but he was afraid that maybe an anti-endorsement card or something. Everybody's so afraid of the scandals. Yeah, it washed him out. Alright, that moves the token to Ladder. And you can see, it's not quite luck, but there's luck behind it. It's what you've got in your hand, what you want to play. It creates an interesting dynamic. I know some players would hate this, absolutely hate it. But personally, I find it really enjoyable, except when I'm on the losing end of it. No, it's just a really fun mechanic to me. It's a shootout. And at this point, if Tom wins, I think he takes the election. He was over 200. There should be more than enough there. If either of Ladder or Hart wins, the other one is knocked out. Well, let's see. Because Hart and Tom only played 1 card. Ooh, 20,000. Harsh. And Hart, an $80,000 card. But Ladder played 3 cards. A deadlock, which doesn't matter in this, and 130,000 in votes. He just won it. And takes the pile. And that's going to knock Hart out of the game. And now there's one more shootout. Doesn't really matter. Dr. Tom's got the chip, so he gets to pick last. But basically, whoever wins this shootout just gets it. And let's see what happened. Oh, that's a lot of room around him. 130,000. But oh, he squelched it. So he's got a 90,000. And over here on Tom, 90,000, tied. They go again. And once more, Ladder was able to play 2 cards again, but one was a 0. So he only played 70,000, as did Tom. Comes down to this last card they both have to play. Let's see what we had. 40,000 for Ladder, 30,000 for Tom. Ladder wins this one. And the game usually ends up this way. It's very seldomly that somebody has enough of a lead that it doesn't come down to just a pure luck, really, shootout at the end of the game. I don't think that's that terrible, but I can see where some people would. I'll wrap this one up. But we did see the person who came in last into the convention won the whole thing. And that's kind of neat. I mean, you're never completely out of it in this game. You can lay a lot, I mean, look, this guy was in the lead, and he had to have a number of either bad plays or unlucky draws to end up losing this one. He definitely had a strong edge going in. If he had won one more race, he had 3 shots. He had, I think, about 3 shots to win it all. So, but then again, other people gang up against him. Okay, I'm gonna load this one up. I'll come back with a review of the game.